Yeah, for sure. Okay,
Oh,
well, they go Rubik instead. It's not that damage potential that I was talking about, right? But instant Ith Path, always good. Um, just increased range as
Radiant
well on a
team
lot of your
ban.
spells.
Beastmaster.
It's okay, but again, I feel like you're just going to get run down by this Marcy Juggernaut in lane. And what's a Zeus or a Jakiro or even a Tiny going to be able to do about it?
so Tiny 2,
10
Beast
seconds
3.
remaining.
I don't know if a Zeus is. Do you want to play Zeus
5
5?
seconds
I'm pretty
remaining.
sure people. It's been
Dire
mainly
team
4,
ban.
right?
No, it's been 5
Okay.
as well. Like 2, 2, 4, 5 is where it's being picked right now. It's very versatile, right? Because you just have to think, well, okay, why would it work as a 5? It seems like it's very greedy. It's not like support-ish, but you've essentially got a free sentry ward at all times, and that's
10
just how you need
seconds
to adapt your
remaining.
gameplay. You use that to scout out the map and make sure that things are a lot
5
easier, and
seconds
then of course you're
remaining.
capable of dishing out damage while being survivable now that Heavenly Jump is an inbuilt skill, not something that you need to buy the Aghanim Shard for.
Oh, we are looking for cybercats off laner, more than likely. There's always the potential to play the Marcy's a 3, but I don't think you're looking to do that with a Rubik lane. So we are looking for a pairing.
Radiant team ban.
Oh, is there any position
I
3s that
mean,
you'd feel? What do you reckon?
unless they choose Enchantress, right? Unless they just want to.
Dire
It doesn't
team ban.
stomp the Beastmaster
Yeah.
anymore, of course, now that he can go the Wild Axes build, but maybe they just really want to win this laning stage. But I feel like Juggernaut Marcy is going to do that anyway. So, what's going to be a good pairing together with a Rubik? Is there a Mars available? Could see a Mars,
10
wouldn't be
seconds
terrible.
remaining.
What else? Maybe a Pango,
5
just something
seconds
that doesn't. I
remaining.
know I hate 3 Pango, but Bloodseeker's already banned, and Zeus, Jakiro, they're all magic damage. So once you're in the Rolling Thunder, how are you going to stop him? You might be able to roar him, but that means that Puck, Juggernaut are free to do whatever the hell they want.
Radiant team pick.
Shanking ban.
Actually, that's a pretty good ban. They've been picking Sand a lot recently, so I feel like that would have been a really nice way to be able to prevent a lot of this push that the Beastmaster is inevitably going to have. So yeah, actually, it's a really good ban coming out from X3.
I'm intrigued to see how the damage
10
is going
seconds
to shape up for
remaining.
Cybercats through the early game, because Jug can get a little bit more active, but
5
kind of for the
seconds
first
remaining.
12 minutes or so, you won't really see the Jug. So I wonder if the Rubik, Puck, and Marcy is going to be enough. Maybe they feel like they need a position 3 that can kind of help out in that department.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Because they need. I think Sand King would have been perfect, right? Because it gives you the tower deep push, but it also gives you that aggressive potential with a blink stun. Something like a Tide provides the defensive aspect, but doesn't give you as much offense without popping your Ravage. Mars, not the greatest at being able to keep these lanes pushed out, but of course, great team fight. So it's really just a toss up for what exactly you want out of the hero. I'd be leaning a little bit more towards the Mars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the Mars. Gives you team fight as well. A lot of control. And you don't see the carries well from X3, and you
Dire
match up
team
pretty well into majority of
Dust.
carries, and Danog is cringing right now at the thought of seeing a position 3 task. It
All
is.
right, let me think. Go on with your
I
what
was
were you
just going
wanting
to
to
say it's
say?
something they have ran before as well. So, their game 1 versus Hydra, DK Fogos was playing the offlane Tusk. He went Soul Ring Phase, BKB, Blink, Silver's Edge, and AC.
I'm assuming it went well for him because not too often you see an AC on a Tusk.
He went 6-2 and 23. They won that game in 46 minutes. They dumped it 17 to
Yep.
46 kill count.
It gives them that aggressive potential, right, that we were talking about. I actually haven't tested if tag team works together with Unleash on Marcy. If that actually buffs up the amount of damage she does, it would make a position 5 do a lot though.
You already do a decent amount with Unleash, honestly. Okay, so
Mm.
the one thing I like about the Tusk is I feel like X3, well, one, you've got to save now versus the Beastmaster Roar, which is a long chain control. So you can kind of take that out of the factor. I think the rest of X3 kind of need to rely on like Roar, into Ice Path, and Macropire. So this Tusk can act as like a
Choose
defensive
your
barrier.
hero.
But I feel like you don't have the greatest pairing in regards to right clicks. Like Rubik is a pretty gone strong 4. I think it's going to be a very good Rubik game as well, considering the abilities you can steal, but it's not really known to be a support that will get great use out of the tag team.
I suppose, but I don't think they're thinking about the early game. I think they're just thinking about, right, how are we going to be able to scout out and then find a way to follow up the puck's initiation onto these supports, because Tusk, Marcy, they're just super capable of bursting down a hero if they're able to get on top of them. So I feel like that's going to be the main priority, and that's what Eagle is going to look to provide for them. Like the Ursa, of course, able to trade fairly well in lane. Honestly, even against the Juggernaut, it's a pretty solid matchup. But the thing that I just keep going back to is Cybercats. They've got 2 like friendly displacement spells, I guess you could call them, right? You've got the dispose, and then Rubik can go into the Aghanim Shard. So like, let's say a puck gets caught out with the Primal Roar, Tusk doesn't even need to be there. You could just dispose back, lift back, and then how do you actually follow up onto it?
Yeah, that could be a bit of an issue for Ursa just to be kited then. Always having that defensive factor for Cybercats. I mean, they got 3 ways. Like you said, I mean, Tusk might not even be reliant as fulfilling that role, but I think this is a really good Ursa pick. I think it's probably one of the best carries they could have gone for at the 24th to really fix some of their issues, and just overall the matchups are great. Like you're able to get out of the shards. You've got a really good matchup versus the puck because you're going to go Bash or Abyssal Blade. You can often just blow him up from 4 to 0. You don't care about coil because you're going to have like the Aghanim Shard, so you just jump out with Enrage with the status resistance. Your matchup versus Jug is very good. You've already gone over that. So this is a very good last pick, and they didn't really need a carry that had a lot of tower push because you kind of already have that with the Jakiro, with the Beastmaster. So it wasn't like you were forced to go down this route like a Medusa, Terrorblade, or whatever that has a built-in way to be able to take objectives. So I actually really like this Ursa pick, but do you think it is enough for X3 to get over the line in this game 1?
4 picks into both sides, I was thinking Cybercats, but now I'm leaning more towards X3.
Ooh.
You know, I'm really not a fan of this Tusk in the position 3. I just think it just doesn't do anything if you're not able to execute in the early stage. I think the Jug and the Marcy will be able to do a fantastic job. I think Puck is busted, so he'll have a fine game. But I just don't think you're going to be able to get enough out of this Tusk. And I talked pre-draft about the real things that I'm looking for in a lot of these engagements, right? I'm looking for the abilities to have effective team fight. They've got okay team fight. They've got okay stunts on X3, but more importantly, they have ways to convert a 1-team fight into more objectives. You've got a Beastmaster. You've got a Tiny that, if he snowballs, is able to become a pushing menace. You've got an Ursa that's very easily able to go into the Roshan after a 1-team fight. So for those reasons, I'll give X3 a 51% favorite.
Okay. And I think also you're taking into consideration the fact that X3 is 0-4 right now, and Cybercats sitting in second place with a 3-1 series count. So these lads are definitely not going to be an easy task to bring down, but X3, with the lineup they have, they can definitely do so. And they've got pretty decent lanes as well, which was a big thing that we were kind of putting emphasis on to really start the day. It's already a good start. Get a T-Ward on mid, so it's going to help out Mr. Natty Narwhal just a little bit in regards to the bounties. So it was a 2 for 2, so nothing crazy.
I mean, you can already see the rebound's already skilled up here by H2O. They look to pair together with Shigetsu. Oh, looks to get in onto him already, but Jug just not in position just yet. It's really just about denying away this first wave of experience and, more importantly, the net worth. But Enrink looks to claim it for himself just so that it isn't completely wasted. But yeah, as soon as that rebound's available again, if they move on forward, especially the Zeus, considering he doesn't have the Heavenly Jump, but I suppose there would be way too many creeps that just went away if they went for that kill.
Thoughts on the Arc Lightning first as well? I feel like a lot of the support Zeus's I've been seeing is kind of the Lightning Bolt instead of the Arc Lightning.
I think that was he didn't skill it up until he was in the lane and it was clear that the Beastmaster was being zoned out, so it was just about making sure that he was able to secure at least some of those last hits for himself.
I think
Like you can see the Beastmaster has 4, Zeus has 4 right now. So it's just about keep the lane shoved in, make them have to play a little bit more defensively on
They're in. They got
cybercats,
the level
which, like,
2s.
this is not what they want to do.
H2O is going to get the toss back into the Blade Fury, and this should be first blood as Shogarat's going to go down. Look at a little bit of damage onto Enrink as well as she gets off to a flying start in game 1.
Yeah, and they just decided...
They're going to go back in again?
Gonna make the...
Okay.
Well, they don't have the Blade Fury, right? So it's not going to be anywhere near as impactful. But that's why Enrink is pushing in so heavily. He's probably going to go down here, though.
Yeah, not be too impactful. Can they close the distance, though? They need the Juggernaut continue chasing for the rebound, but they are going to be missing some creep. So I'm going to jump to another lane real quick, see how that is shaping up. We'll keep tabs just to make sure the Zeus isn't killed off. But mid lane, it looks like Igor... is doing pretty fine. Natty Narwhal 10 and 5. It is a pretty decent matchup for the Tiny though, so imagining the position 2 on X3 to have a good lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, you're not really going to have any freedom on this bottom side with either support to make that rotation, just because Marcy wants to be there for the kill potential, and Zeus needs to be there to shove in the lane so that Beastmaster isn't just chain feeding. So the fact that they're going to be able to get off this pull, push the lane back, make it so that the Beastmaster is eventually going to have to farm a little bit closer towards the Radiant side of the map is a big benefit for cybercats. They've also hit level 3 now, so any kind of kill... They can't go on the Zeus anymore, though, right? He's got the Heavenly Jump available, so it's still just the Beastmaster that's the main priority.
And our last lane up top. Both the cores are getting a decent amount of farm. Nice thing for cybercats is the fact that they have the creep equilibrium very far on their side. Shogarat.
Got lane.
Was backed into Shigetsu. But Jog doesn't feel the need to drop the Blade Fury at the moment to try and harass out the Beastmaster.
Yeah, no point. Like, it's just as good to keep him from getting too many last hits, right? He's still doing a pretty decent job getting 12 and 1 so far. They have been able to at least block up that small camp, so Marcy's not going to be able to get any more of these creep pulls off, but Jug is just having a fantastic time on this bottom side.
And one thing I kind of found interesting when I was looking at DK Fogus's item build last time he played the Tusk, he was actually paired with a puck in that game, and he didn't go the Ag Scepter. So I'm going to be intrigued to see if it might be a little bit different, especially because you're playing into an Ursa. Maybe you'll definitely feel the need.
I think so. I think specifically the Ursa, you're just like, you want to get him the hell away from your team. None of them really wants to be able to man fight into this Ursa. You want to force him to pop the Enrage and then look to re-engage after that. So I think that's going to be the main play by DK Fogus. Get tanky enough so that he's not going to get burst down 100-0. Force the Enrage, kick him away.
Enrink looking to connect the toss back. Eagle though should be okay. They didn't get the full damage coming through from the combo. Nicely done. I believe Radiant was able to scout out the rotation from Enrink, so they were aware of the Zeus maybe being in the neighborhood.
We're set to go for a kill up top, but Nesfear looking to make the rotation back. And get a nice dual breath.
Ursa has face boots back up shortly, but he doesn't have a level in the Earthshock. Might prove to be an issue. And Phazor's just continuing to right-click him down. And hang on a second, 2-point shrapnel's plenty of damage. And meanwhile, bottom lane, Shogarat trying to duck into the tree line. He does have the balls to slow down Shigetsu. So it looks like the Beastmaster's going to be able to escape, and Ring will have the same fate as well. Boots and the Heavenly Jump. The H2O are not able to get in range for the Dispose.
And now you've got the phase boots as well. So that boar, of course, still annoying, but not going to be the thing holding you off from getting these kills even more in this bottom lane. Got to be so careful with how Enrink's positioning himself. To just try and have sense of where the Marcy is and play completely away from him. And look at that. Beastmaster already pushed all the way back to the triangle just to secure any semblance of farm.
And this is huge now because Cybercats, they can bring H2O to try and secure one of the power runes. Both X3 supports are also rotating as well. Oh, they get a regen for Igor. And I think the Marcy might have scouted out Zeus dropping that ward in the river. Well, hasn't dropped the sentry just yet, so maybe it was just out of vision range.
I think it was nighttime, so we didn't quite see it, but yeah, it's still very annoying to have to play up against this Marcy, who, again, such a strong laner.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
The pucks, what's going on in Igor's net worth? He's really struggling in this matchup. The last hits, well, 15 denies.
Radiant are scanning.
No, was just doing really well. That's as simple as that, right? Sometimes it just comes down to the outplay coming through, and even with all that assistance coming through from the supports, Igor still suffering a little bit here.
I didn't look at the denies. I think that was the big thing. The last hits look relatively close. I mean, there's only 3 difference. Maybe Igor's getting a lot more out of the small camp, but yeah, Nadinawa with a bigger net worth advantage at the moment, and we'll see. The Tiny really revolves around kind of snowballing. Hold that thought, though. Top lane, an early rotation coming through from H2O. They're going to try and target down Nesfi for the moment. Telekinesis, nice use of the land stun. Nesfi, though, is able to reposition thanks to SMN's Ice Path, and now they're going to push on to try and get a trade out of this, but Phasal still pumping in the damage. They're going to jump in once again with the abilities back up from the Marcy. So cybercats able to find another kill out of this top lane. And that was a rotation as well. Enring trying to protect Nesfi. They do keep the Ursa alive, and cybercats, they're even threatening about going back in, because Nesfi, he steps over the boundary, trying to get rid of the small camp. They got the Zeus as well, just as he was trying to heavily jump away. Oh, no. They're going to go for the dive, though. The threat of Nadi Narwhal tipping to the lane. This task does offer a lot of burst potential, but DK Fogus looking to escape to the right side. Is going to go for a TPR. Can the Jakiro get the Ice Path? Well, not even going to go for it.
Didn't have that courier coming out to him with his Soul Ring. He actually had it purchased a while ago on the Tusk, so would have been able to pop that and use the Ice Shards to claim the kill if he had it, but it's 1 kill gone missing, but still 5-0, 1k net worth lead. A lot of it is on the Juggernaut, though. A lot of the other lanes going fairly even or even slightly X3 favored.
I think it's a big pop minute, though, for cybercats, because the Ursa lane was going really well. You slow him down, and I mean, now we see the Jug. He's already halfway to the Maelstrom, but also it gave time for Igor to get that 8-minute power rune. So he's got a haste now with the coil, so he could look to make another rotation top. Well, no, Ursa's actually back of the jungle, so Nesfi, he doesn't feel too comfortable with playing this top lane.
Looking to try and make a play bot. I believe, well, actually, Beastmaster's still a little bit away from hitting that level 6. Just the level 5 at the moment. He's got the Helm of the Dominator. More importantly, the rotation coming through from the mid-Tiny. So, good position by Shigetsu. Well, it was on the right-hand side of the creep wave. Let's see if Narwhal's able to catch him.
Oh, he's late with the reactions. Does he get the Blade Fury off thanks to the interval ticking? Whoa, all right. Wasn't expecting that much damage to actually come through from the tree throw, but they get the kill. Maybe the Tread's helping out there for the Tiny. Has the Grow as well, so there they go. Get the kill. That's a big one as well into the Juggernaut.
Rotation's coming, though. They want to make sure that they're shutting down this Beastmaster as much as possible. He's, of course, got that Dark Troll Summoner there, ready and available to consistently raise up the Skelly Boys to assist with the push. And instantly coming back here is Juggernaut as well. They want to get that easy kill.
And they should be able to. Raw's going to hold back the puck for the moment, but nowhere to escape the leash as multiple heroes from cybercats just swarm to Shogurat's position. And they're still under a ward as well. They would have seen Nadi Narwhal trying to retreat to the river. They also saw Enring's position. So what's the play for cybercats? Do you smoke across the map and try to connect with DK Fogos now on the Tusk?
I think you necessarily need to. I think he's happy just to continue to push up ahead. He's honestly incredibly farmed on this Tusk, just being left alone all this time. So it's just about keeping the lanes shoved in as much as possible. You do have the siege creep wave coming, I suppose, and that is a big area that cybercats are lacking, at least until the Juggernaut joins in. He's still 200 gold away from being able to pick up that Maelstrom, but still, they're wanting to make the rotation towards mid, but Nadi Narwhal, wisely enough, going to identify the siege.
Oh no, Nesfi's in trouble.
Nesfi,
enters the high ground. Enrage only protecting for the moment, but they have this Omni Slash afterwards. Any slash is going to bounce to SMN. No!
Oh, unlucky.
Oh, they get so lucky. The bounce to the right, and Shigetsu 1-for-1. Being able to convert on that first use of the Omni Slash is huge at slashing away the life of the Ursa.
Got DK Focus just still sitting up here. No Raw for 20 seconds, but looks like he's going to try and at least pressure... Oh, sorry, Shogurat's going to try and pressure DK Focus.
He's looking like a bit of a goner here. Beautiful placement from the Ice Path from SMN. Nadina was going to be able to get the kill as well. That's an important one to give over to the Tiny. He's got a lot of gold in the bank as well, so 2-0 at the moment for the position 2 on X3. He's going to be hitting a pretty good Blink Dagger timing.
With the Avalanche as well, I mean, it's something that is pretty noticeable these days, but with the longer intervals of the Avalanche, it just means that you can never get off that spin if you're just using the Avalanche. Even with a bunch of status resistance, it just doesn't happen. There's a very small window when you use the toss that you're able to use it at like the peak height of the toss. Don't ask me how that works, but yeah, it just means that there's no chance of being able to get off that BKB or spin if they look to make an attempt with the Tiny.
Yeah, that's where I wasn't sure about that attempt down bottom where the Tiny stepped in, because I thought, you know, Joker's going to see him, should just be able to Blade Fury, but yeah, the change to the Inter was kind of that big thing of why we saw the Tiny kind of come back for a little bit, because he was played for a position 1 for quite some time, then they kind of nerfed that role, and then you know, we see the reintroduction of this hero.
Big smoke coming up towards the top side. They have the Primal Roar this time as well.
A very good lane ward.
Big group smoke. Blink Dagger by Natty Narwhal. So he's looking to go.
Oh, this is
you
huge.
would imagine either.
Oh, they're all under vision. Oh no, Phasor instantly blown up. They got the Thunder God's Wrath as well for the vision, but Shigetsu's actually going to look to take the fight. Even a buyback coming up from Phasor as well. A toss, not enough to get the kill at the moment. Hey, Shua is still in a bit of trouble. Went for the dispose instead. So we're still in range for the right clicks from X3. Nice shards, but I don't think there's going to be a follow-up SMM. They did steal the Ice Path though, Phasor, along with Igor. The threat of the ultimate for the puck could prove to be an issue for X3. They're going to be cautious if they group up. Looks like that's not going to be the case. So 1 for 2 with the buyback forced out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They're generally okay with that on X3. Like, you'll lose a tier 1 tower, but Ursa had a lot of free time to just sit down in this bottom lane and farm. He should be able to see that there's TPs coming down now, though, so he needs to make sure he gets out before the rest of the team looks to join in.
Nice jukes for the moment on Nezfir, but the team's starting to rotate. Pretty fast reactions from the lads on X3. Let's see if Natty... Oh my! Even better from Igor, but still, the burst potential. It's showing up as soon as Enric comes to play. 4 points in the Lightning Bolt. They can now chain this into H2O's life. And with everyone down bottom, H3, they should be able to get this tier 1 tower.
Yeah, no one else had TPs. Yeah, they've only just come off cooldown now. Tusk still doesn't even have one in the inventory. So it's just a really nice movement coming through from X3, realizing how the response happened towards that top lane. They could very easily look to claim this one. Again, make that rotation back towards mid. It's another smoke. X3 are pretty heavy on the smokes, but they did see, though, with those ice shards thrown out, that the courier delivered something to someone, and so they're going to be able to get out to the safety of their vision.
Hang on, the Jug, though. So farming pretty aggressively. They might pop the smoke underneath the ward, but Natty Narwhal's going to be in with the combo. I really like how they're doing this. The Tiny and the Zeus in conjunction together. We're seeing how much burst potential these two really have.
Do you think this is a Midas game on the Tiny? Because Natty Narwhal seems to think so. And I'm not as positive if that's the avenue that I would be looking to go down. It's not like you're, going up against a Beastmaster and you might be trying to nullify his Helm of the Dominator a little bit. You're not going up against boars or anything like that. Of course, levels are always good for a Tiny, but I feel like you've got the kill squad to be able to make a lot of these kills happen. Not the longest ultimates on your team.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like take this multiple avenues in a game like this, where I feel like Ursa could have considered a Battle Fury, because I think he is a hero that can out-carry cybercats this game, especially with his core-to-core matchups. So you could go down that route of Nezfir going Battle Fury and then Tiny being a bit more of a playmaker, but maybe they feel like because Ursa has this diffusal and he might slow down in a little bit of farm, so that's where Natty Narwhal can kind of pick up the pace at the later stages.
Dire's middle tower is
To me, it kind of feels like they don't want to be slowing down, though. They should be playing at a very fast pace. You've got the better pushing lineup. You've got a lineup that wants to be able to do Rosh, and of course with an Ursa, second Rosh is really what you're playing for, so you get the free Aghanim shard. So going something like a Midas that may slow down your tempo a little bit seems a little counterintuitive.
Nice scan.
They do have vision.
Dire's top tower
And to protect
is
this
under
ward, you
attack.
cannot let it go. We've got heroes nearby. The rest of Radiant, a bit slow to connect. A lot of damage onto N-Ring to start. H2 is going to TP into the jungle as well. They get the coil break and they'll get the second support as well. So they do lose their ward, but it's going to come at a cost for X3.
Radiant's
It
bottom
will, but
tower
it
is
was
under
actually
attack.
only the one TP, but still a lot of movements coming down towards the bottom side. So the important thing is Ursa continuing to farm. He actually had a BKB queued up for the longest time, but he's going into that Blink Dagger, realizing that probably syncing that up together with the Midas, and it's going to be pretty important for winning that next team fight, because I feel like I've said it a few times now. They just need to get that next Roshan. They need to win a team fight around the mid-tier 1 tower, take that, go into Roche, take that, and then the game is just wide open for them. Not too far away from the Helm of the Overlord either, which of course will help with that prospect.
I think one thing we haven't really brought up this game is the fact that X3, they are going to have a big advantage in regards to vision. You've got a Beastmaster, you've got a goddamn Zeus as well, so it's going to be very difficult for cybercats to get any form of control out of this game. It's going to come down to maybe getting some early objectives, but they don't have the lineup to do that, so maybe we could be looking at a early-ish gem from Radiant.
It'd be a ballsy play, that's for sure. I mean, sorry, I'm just looking up at this top side, seeing who's going to be greedy, who's going to get baited by that juicy little creep wave first. Looks like a smoke might be popped here by SMN, though. Really nice positioning coming through from him.
It's gonna well, Solar
It'll cost him
Lightning
his
Bolt's
life,
going to be
but-
nice.
Yeah.
Have to drop the coil as well for this, but look at the kill regardless. I was just gonna say, the Solar Lightning Bolt could be kind of nice to help D-Ward.
Sure.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
All right, let's see what Gaben thinks. Hey, Gaben agrees. X3 favored. See? Never doubt me.
Oh, yes, of course. My apologies.
Dire's
All right,
top
Helm of the
tower
Overlord,
is
Blink
under attack.
Dagger, Midas. They're just going straight into Roche, I guess, realizing that the Dream Coil was previously used. I think this is a pretty cool attempt, although... Ooh, the smoke's going to be popped. Ooh, I don't know if Enric really wants to be here, though. I feel like so much.
Oh, he's gonna move forward into the river, so the rest of X3, they're gonna reveal their position. Look at the balls on Nesvi. He's gonna try and stay inside the Roche pit. SMN's gonna run inside, though. No, you can't run into the pit. The Ursa was gonna steal Roche, and you just give it up for free. The Jug steps in, gets the Aegis, and when it comes to the cost, as DK Focus will lose his life, but now Eagle, he can enter this team fight as well. An Orb to secure the kill. They're gonna try and chase down Shoka out as well. There are not enough trees to be able to juke through, but hang on, Natty Narwhal deals with the healing wall, but it's not going to be enough. Shigetsu once again protected with the Blade Fury, and it can chase down a secondary kill. Onto the Tiny they go. Enring's back alive. They'll get the Aegis. Maybe that's enough to buy some breathing room for Natty Narwhal.
Zeus has the static field
He's back.
available,
Hang
so
on
he
to
does
Pug.
a decent amount of damage.
Oh no, Eagle thought that Natty Narwhal wasn't going to reinitiate. Blade Fury should be able to cover the full TP duration. We've got a Thunder God's
Trying to
Wrath.
catch the Rubik as well.
You should be okay.
Blink Dagger on Natty.
Oh, it's daytime too.
Not daytime as well. Yeah. Can
Has
he
he
catch
seen?
him? What's the vision like?
I think he saw a glimpse.
Does
Yeah, they
not.
pinged. Yeah, they got a glimpse. Now Phasor, yep, he should be killed off here. Tree toss from afar. Natty, oh, mid lane as well. What's going on? Marcy in a bit of trouble. Nesfi able to reveal the blink, and he's even going to try and chase down DK Fogos as well. He has the haste, but Tusk got to reposition back to the safety of that tier 2 tower.
I mean, you've got that siege creep as well, right? May as well push. Beastmaster, all that extra damage pumping through. Helm of the Overlord creep. That still could have gone so much better for X3, though. I really don't know what Enric was doing. You had the cover of the smoke. You had pretty much no information, given the fact that you were going into the pit. And then even just with the Omni Slash, bringing it into the pit, maybe assuming that they just wanted a little bit of extra damage onto the Roshan, but luckily enough for X3, it still ends up working out for them pretty well, getting a lot of kills, more importantly, towards this Ursa and the Tiny, who, I mean, Natty Narwhal is carrying this game for them.
Yes. Yes, he is indeed. There was going to be a very awkward period for the Tiny when he was kind of building up this Midas, but the fact that he's got the Midas and has still been having a lot of impact throughout these team fights is going to be huge for his scaling now. I mean, it's already he's got a goddamn Shadow Blade. I thought it was an Echo Saber, but this man's got a Shadow Blade now, so his pickup potential on the side lanes is going to be something that I don't think cybercats can deal with.
It's actually really useful as well because Midas, as well as well, not so much Shadow Blade, but Midas is one of the best items in terms of like gold spent per attack speed gained, and that's what Natty Noel, as a tiny, is going to make such good use out of. Shadow Blade gives it as well, so 35 attack speed's certainly nothing to sneeze at. He's just wanting to bait someone out to try and farm this creep wave, and then he's instantly going to jump in and try and burst him down. Oh, the sentry,
Nice sentry.
well placed.
Really nice sentry, but they telekinesis him closest to Eagle's location. So I'm going to get a little bit of distance thanks to the jump. The rest of cybercats going to consider about showing up to the fight because the right side with the Omni Slash. Sugarat takes the full duration of this. Shigetsu's going to try and chase down Nezfir as well, but won't be able to close the distance. Meanwhile, to the mid-tier 2 tower, Enric with the TP out. No, DK Fogos just has to cancel on the snowball. But the rest of X3, they still have the Tiny stalking under the cover of the Invis, but they will not stick around, so we do have a 2-for-2 with the skirmish down bottom.
Getting lucky as well. Just being able to pick up a regen rune after all of those engagements. He's up to level 17 as well, so we see how much burst damage he's able to achieve. It's just going to get more and more once he hits that level 18. Aghanim Shard coming next for him too, realizing that he can't wait for the one from Roshan. That's what Ursa wants coming through next.
And you... A little bit more on this. Hang on, Natty Narwhal is gone straight to the jungle. They do have a ward sentry combo placed. They see him. They're gonna get the D ward on the high gun, and it looks like the Tiny doesn't feel safe enough to be able to continue in this attempt.
So what were you saying?
I was gonna say that I was mentioning Tiny and his pickup potential, but you're about to have a Nimbus as well, and Zeus, like Enric's relatively farmed. He's got the Philosopher's Stone to help out as well. So, yeah, I'm just intrigued to see how cybercats look to play the map now, because they will not be able to split push very easily.
Trying to catch out this Puck as he tries to do just that.
Ooh.
Dire's top tower is
Will he guess? Will he guess right? Oh, Blink Hava. Oh, it's just a little too slow. I think you just got to guess at that stage. You know exactly what he's doing.
Is under attack.
And they're immediately going to go for a smoke with the Tiny and the Zeus revealing themselves on the top side of the map. DD would be absolutely enormous for the Tiny if he's able to pick it up, but DK Fogus is the one that grabs it instead.
It's a big time, though, if they can get the fight. Nezfir doesn't have BKB just yet, really close to completing the recipe. It's a long wraparound down bottom, but Shurgrat's in prime position to be able to pop the smoke. Greatly done from the Beastmaster. And now he's going to hold back the Jug as well, so this should buy some time for the TPs to come in. They know that Blade Fury is being expended as well, so Shigetsu actually might be in a tricky position to take this fight. He's got to use the Omni Slash for the invulnerability. They turn with the coil, but it will not matter. They blow up Eagle, and now Shigetsu has got the Blade Fury back up, but what can he do? He's going to look to escape from the left side. They're unable to get the Jug for the moment.
Oh, well.
They're going to give him the bonus movement speed as well. Nicely done. DK Focus is out with the BKB TP, and the rebound movement speed as well. Shigetsu should be able to make it. Blink still... Hang on, Shigetsu? You're not going back in, are you?
But he's thinking about it. Got Nezfir standing around pretty close by as well, though, so have to be very careful. H2O is playing so well, man. Like, setting up a bunch of those kills in lane, and it feels like every single time the Tiny's going for one of these gank attempts, there's a sentry ward placed up just a couple of seconds beforehand, so his game sense is really on point.
And
Even just saving the Juggernaut there from that gank previously.
Radiant are scared.
Both sides really need to be thinking about Roshan. That's where this game can really blow wide open if X3 get that second Rosh, ages, but more importantly, that Aghanim Shard into the hands of the Ursa. And cybercats, they need to be coming up with a game plan to be able to prevent this and be able to set their wards up to take a fight in that area.
I could tell that they want to fight, but they should know that the Aegis timer is still going to be about a minute, let's say 2 minutes away, taking into account what the probabilities are coming through.
DK Focus is
under
under a
ward.
ward.
DK Focus, that'd be great.
They got a River Ward as well. They see Nezfir starting to path his way top, so nice read that. There was going to be some extra numbers moving along with the Ursa.
You just got to wait for Natty Narwhal to have this Silver Edge, man. It's such a big timing to have that extra crit with all the attack speed that he's got. Even tell SMN Obviously, he wants his next item, but in terms of utility, this Tiny's the one that's going to get it. Not going toss requires no target. He's turned into this core, this person that's going to be able to carry the game on his back even more than he already has.
Smoke up. They know they smoke though. They drop the ward.
Yeah.
Sentry already is located. But it's important now if cybercats, they need to control this area. You can't give this up for free. Again, Roche is really this next important fight we're going to see. So if you lose this ward, it's going to make it very difficult for you to take a fight in this area.
Nice scouting out by Enrink as well. He's so close to being able to pick up that Aghanim Scepter for himself, so he just wanted to know that he was free to farm that next creep wave. Didn't want to lose a whole bunch of unreliable gold there. And now you're kind of forcing cybercats' hand. They have to play a little bit more defensively. They have to reveal someone on the map to defend this tower. Otherwise, it's obvious that they're just out there again.
They get Fogos. Hang on. Hang on. This is very close, and Nesvi's going to jump instantly. But they force out the beat, Geppy. That's a win in itself. X3, they didn't have to commit too heavily. Let's see if they want to smoke now, but still these items are just starting to be picked up, so maybe they'll wait a couple of seconds.
They got Silver Edge and Zeus. Courier's coming out. Speed boost it. Get it there faster.
There we go.
Even if they were... Oh, look at this movement. They're just playing around that high ground vision as much as they can. But of course, anytime you've got a Beastmaster,
Shigetsu.
it's always going to... I mean, Blade Fury down's a pretty significant cooldown, so X3 is just going to go a different route. Go around the left-hand side, maybe even take the tier 1 top tower. Use that as a different avenue to be able to go into the Roche pit. They know that Roche is up, though. Enrink just using the lightning bolt into the pit.
Both sides have that information. Shigetsu's going to move in. They're not going to... Nah, they got to... That's not happening.
They know. They know.
The tree, I went on their vision. I don't think it... Unless it doesn't last long, I was a little bit late on it, but I didn't see that they had information of this. Enri's going to see now. But Roche is falling. They're going to have to make a play pretty soon. Ice Path to start. Where's the follow-up? The Raw, and he saves. Shigetsu's in trouble. Play through the last second. They don't get the Aegis as well. Natty Narwhal picks up the second life, but Shigetsu out to the right. It will not matter. They're able to get rid of the Juggernaut before the Omni Slash, and now they're chasing for more. X3 find 2-0 casualties on their behalf. They will not run into anyone else on cybercats, but they also get the Aegis. My lord, what a fight from X3.
Radiant's top tower
Turning out
is
really
under
well
attack.
for them. I can't quite see who got the Aghanim shard from that. I don't think it was the Tiny, because you already had it.
Jug already had it as
Let's see
well.
Maybe the Beastmaster was able to pick it up there afterwards. He's got the dive bomb available.
Okay. Bit unfortunate the Ursa doesn't get it, but at least the dive bomb's not the worst shard to be able to play with.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And man, look at this Tiny now, right? By going into more of this carry build, the right-click damage coming through, the grow bonus damage with the tree, just means that he's able to chunk down these towers. This is what I was talking about, right? It's what the meta feels like. You need to be able to convert into more after you get these big teamfight victories. And, you know, while they might be a little bit lacking in teamfight, you're just playing out of your mind right now on Natty Narwhal to get a lot of these picks off, to be able to burst down the right heroes at the right time, that you don't even need it.
A prize.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
10,000 net worth
See the
lead
Goblin
now.
Quiver. How much damage.
Is this Natty? Yeah.
And you know what he's going to get as well.
I was looking.
You know
Man,
it.
I was looking. I really was. I was like, hang on, if they aren't. Oh my god. He got a Paladin Soul for the Ursa as well.
God damn game,
Oh, he
man.
sent it back? Okay, he's getting it. Okay, I was gonna say, hang on.
God, yeah.
He forgot for a second how broken it was on the Tiny.
What is this game, man?
Yeah, I don't know.
Rig.
Oh, they double smoke? They double smoke? Were they already smoked?
It was, I think the first one had expired, basically. Gonna need to be careful with this courier position, though. Yeah, this is just revealing exactly where the team is, and you can see the pings are coming out.
They're not all grouped up, though. Natty Narwhal's in again with the combination. Marcia just blown up to start the fight. Shigetsu's getting a decent amount of damage, just stolen Raw to hold the back. That's going to give an opportunity for the Omni Slasher. Look at the damage that's starting to build up. They get the coil to 3 as well, but the Ursa easily able to stand his ground and man fight the Juggernaut. And now Natty Narwhal is onto the park as well. Cybercats continue continuing to lose one after another. They might be able to chase Nesfear down in the river. A toss to help out with the damage. Enric out of all heroes with the triple kill. But the Jug, Shigetsu, he just pulled back. You can't let this man die, but you've got no one to protect him. Healing Ward does jack as X3 get a team wipe. They're going to die back on the carry on Cybercats. Another base soon to be in trouble.
A lot of the times when you see these tinies, you see them paired together with something, you know, an ogre, just something to be able to buff him up. But Natty Narwhal, he's living up to his name. He is full Natty, baby, just going all in himself. Hasn't died a single time this game. 20 kill involvements out of the 23. This man is just doing it on his own for X3 right now.
Dude, they gave him they've got the Inner Beast. They gave him the Frenzy as well. He didn't even have the Titan Sliver yet delivered.
Yeah. Oh. Man, what a beast.
Oh boy, X3, 18,000 net worth lead now. You got the AC as well. The Jug, that was a really good Omni Slash, but it seems like he's...
Aegis, man.
Yep.
They don't have damage. This is what I'm talking about with the Tusk, right? You might be able to do good in the early game, but what happens after that if it isn't fantastic? Which it wasn't, let's be real.
Natty's in. Eagle might be in a little bit of trouble. Doesn't get the joint on the high ground. And DK Focus, he jumped to his own pit of death. Raw instant from Shurgrat to get a multi-ammo. Dude, Natty, no. What have you just done to Cybercat? That was... Dude, what a performance from the two from X3. My guy just popped off.
Full Natty, baby. All he needs to do is eat Clan and trend hard, and that's what you get. I mean, it's just X3 able to pick up that victory for themselves. We were saying some divine intervention needed to happen to be able to bring them to that next stage, and man, Natty Narwhal, he was juiced up today. He was really keen for them to get this win. It's only the first game, though. But if he's able to keep this momentum going, it'll, of course, be able to transition into that later stages. I mean, one of the next opponents is Namiga if they're able to get this win. But if he keeps up this style of performance and the draft is this favored again towards X3, then maybe they've got a chance. You know, it's a never say die attitude, which is really admirable.
Danog as well. We gotta mention it's a puck that lost. It is a puck that lost. This hero is you see it. It's pretty much it never loses. It never loses. I want to check in the break what the win rate of this hero is through all DPC at the moment, because it's looking incredibly strong. But the fact that they're able to topple the puck, I mean, the first phase of the Tiny and the Zeus really worked out. Enric had a great game as well. We saw he was able to really freely cast in a lot of these fights because the Ursa was in, the Tiny was in, Beastmaster was soaking up a lot of damage. So we saw Enric, he actually did the third most damage in that game, just a little bit behind the Jug.
So what did we learn from this game, Lockie?
What did we learn? That puck can be beaten, that Natty Narwhal is juiced to the tits, and that X3, they have what it takes. And Titan Sliver Tiny, although we didn't particularly see it. But and you're right, is that
and don't pick Tusk 3 is the other thing. Like it just doesn't do anything, man. I'm telling you. Like, he was left on his own for the longest time. Like, I want to say until like the 18 or so minute mark. Maybe not that late, but he was like until 12 minutes. And he was still 5th on net worth. He was completely uncontested. He just farms way too slowly. He isn't able to push it out. He isn't able to do tower damage. He isn't able to convert into anything. It's just not the hero for the position 3. You need the levels super quickly. Mid it can work. Support it always can work. But 3, I don't want to see it. I want to see some AoE team fight that would have really enabled the puck even further. Mars would have been great. Might have been punished by the Ursa in lane. But, I mean, wouldn't have been any worse than the Tusk was. So, yeah, I think it did come down to the draft at the end of the day. But X3, they needed to execute, and they did.
You said they had a 51%. That's what you said. And, well, for X3, they put out a hat. What a game 1 performance from them. Natty Narwhal leading the charge there in this first game of the night. We're going to send it over break, and when we come back, we'll have more Eastern Europe Dota 2 action.